Dave, first off, just Freddie Freeman back in the lineup. I know yesterday you had mentioned he was dealing with a little bit of a 24-hour bug, so it's with him being the DH, just kind of easing him back into things.
It is. He was kind of laid up, resting yesterday, but we texted today, and he felt really confident about getting out there, wanting to take some at-bats, so I just kind of felt a nice compromise was getting to be a DH.
And next month he's playing at first base. What have you been seeing from him this spring, and how has he been feeling so far recently?
You know, Max, kind of like Edwin Rios, where I didn't expect him to be this far along, where he's at right now, and he's a guy that I count on a lot, and so it's a last-minute pivot back to first base, but he's a baseball player. I'm excited to see where he's at right now. He's really close, and I think that he's synced up for the season just in the right time.
When you're just watching, whether it's players like Max or even some of the other guys at the plate right now, are you seeing that it feels like kind of with rhythm and timing things are getting to where they should be once opening day comes?
I do, and I think that I know that it might not show it on the stat sheet as far as with our offense, but I see that the focus has really been ramped up, and you know, with that, with the talent, the results will be there once we get there.
Have you guys finalized your opening day roster yet?
No, we have not. There's still some guys that, namely in the bullpen, that we're trying to figure out.
What about?
I said we got 16 and 12, but as far as kind of the last spot in the pen, we're kind of figuring out.
Have you told like the position players yet? The last couple there who's made it?
Yeah, all the position players know. Yeah, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Edwin Rios is part of that group.
Edwin Rios will be on the team, yes. We're very excited about that.
How did he take the reaction?
He was thrilled. I called him when he was with his wife at the house. So he was really excited, and he's earned it.
Doc, new season, new contract. What is it like to be back home? You know, finally get this going. I know, it's still the spring, but back home and the splendor of being here.
It's really exciting. I'm excited. I didn't know if we were going to get to this point, so to be here right now back at Dodger Stadium, it just seems normal. And I know our guys got a little extra burst of adrenaline, excitement, energy. Last night was fun to be, in Anaheim and see the crowd, and we expect something similar tonight and tomorrow night. So it's exciting. We're ready to get going.
Of course, one of the drawbacks of the job is that you can't have every guy in the roster. Pilar will be going down to the minors. Any doubt in your mind that he'll be back up here at some point?
No doubt in my mind. Kevin is a Los Angeles guy. Grew up rooting for the Dodgers. I just wish I would have played with the guy. He's a guy that I just love watching, admiring, and to see him in a Dodger uniform, it looks right. And he's a major league player. Fortunately for the Dodgers, that he's open to taking an assignment to AAA, but there's no doubt in my mind that he'll come up and help us at some point.
Dave, are you? I assume you're set with the rotation in Colorado. Is that something that you're set?
Doug, I don't know. I think that we're set as far as the 5 guys that are going to start the games. I just don't know what order. I know that Walker's going to start game 1. But as far as 2, 3, 4, and 5, I just don't see where we're going to be with that. I know that Heaney he won't be pitching in Colorado, but outside of that, the other 3 guys we're still trying to sift through.
Now that suggests maybe a health or some kind of nicked up.
I don't know if no. It's more of matchup based, and just kind of looking at the Rockies series, looking out beyond that, and also just kind of how guys, most importantly, come out of tonight. We've got Julio going and Tony piggybacking, so to see how these guys come out tonight will also shed a little bit more light.
Is Tommy Kahnle doing okay? He said he was going to pitch Saturday last week. But
yeah, Tommy's doing really well. He ended up pitching in a minor league game and threw an inning, and he was 94 to 96 with a great change. I think with him, and he understands that there's no need to push him right now. So I just am hesitant to put a hard date on it, but I think it's fair. End of April, beginning of May is reasonable, but we're really excited where Tommy's at.
What about Caleb?
Caleb is kind of in that same time frame. he's progressing real well. I just think we have to look at things of what he did last year or what he didn't do to now project in 2022. There's restrictions, and so how we can find the right number of innings and how to deploy those innings for the season is everything. So he's in a good place and progressing nicely.
Hey, do you know if the humidor is a humidor here already?
I have no idea.
It's supposed to be one at every ballpark.
I'm sure there is one. I'm assuming there is one, but I have no idea already.
Are your cigars in there?
You know what? If there is a humidor, I'm going to throw my Cubans in there. I brought some. I got some great Cubans in my office right now.
Whenever they do get one, it's delivered. I mean, what kind of impact do you think that would have ballpark effect?
You know what? I certainly think that it adds consistency as far as the feel of the baseball. As far as elevation also matters, whether we're playing at altitude or we're playing at sea level. But I guess I'm just not smart enough to know how much of an impact it's going to make.
Hey Dave, I'm sorry if you covered this after the trade, but between Lutz and Taylor, what's your preference in terms of second base and left field?
I think they're interchangeable. Obviously, CT's played a lot more left field, and Gavin's played a lot more second base. I think a little bit for me, the driver is CT coming back off surgery, so to not put him in a position where he's got to play with arm angles from the outfield, then to kind of shorten the stroke and throw from different angles, so to make sure that he gets 100% bill of health, and then we'll kind of move him around more.
With AJ's departure, talk about the possibilities now for Lutz.
Well, Gavin's a guy that we think highly of, so certainly gives him a little bit more runway, and I believe he's going to take it and run with it. So we're going to miss AJ, but it just creates opportunities, more opportunities for Gavin and other guys.
Jake Lamb, another guy you expect to see back up here at some point?
I do. I feel just as I feel very fondly of Jake. It's a tough game sometimes to have that conversation when you know a player or players, as we talked about, are deserving. So, but he was a pro, and I expect him, along with Kevin, at some point to help us out. Yeah.
Dave, you mentioned you're excited to have Edwin up here. You know, coming off his injury last year, what's just really kind of impressed you about his demeanor? You know, coming in the spring.
I think the thing that's impressed me most with Edwin is his confidence. All players try to have some semblance of confidence, but I think that you have to have performance for it to be embedded in who you are. And so Edwin has that real confidence that he can play here on both sides of the baseball. So he had bats, the defense. He made a great play last night. Looked really easy.
I wanted to ask you, obviously sad news today, Tommy Davis, passing away. Do you have any kind of reaction, to that? What he meant to the Dodgers organization, franchise?
I knew Tommy, wasn't very close, but he's a Dodger legend, and it's a sad day for the Dodgers and what he meant for the entire organization for so many years. And even after his playing days, he was impactful in the community.
Is that anybody you try to model your game after? I know he probably was his heyday was.
He was a better hitter, much better hitter.
But just kind of like that dynamic.
I think just the old school, tough grinder type. The Dodgers had a lot of those guys, and so I think if there's anything, I certainly try to model myself after guys like that. Yeah.
Dave, Anderson, Phillips, and Trinan, I guess, were throwing out here before the game today. What did you see out of them, or what was the report?
Tyler threw, I think, 4 or 5 innings. He threw the baseball well. So I expect him out of the pen in length at some point early in the season. Hudson wanted a back-to-backs, faced 3 hitters, got 3 quick outs, looked good. Trinan, I think, faced 3 or 4 hitters. looked really good. And Andrew Heaney had a bullpen on the mound today. So did I miss anyone?
Phillips?
And Evan threw today. So I think it was just more of just running out of innings, game innings. So to kind of put these guys in front of hitters to get some type of live action.
Could Tyler pitch 4 or 5 innings if you have to start him warming up in the middle of the games, or like kind of how far could he go in a if you don't know already?
Yeah,
kind of when he's coming?
I think he can. It's going to be on me to find, give him a good heads up, but I think it's safe to say that he'll pitch in a clean inning, so he'll kind of have that build up, and fortunately we've done it I think 3 or 4 times this spring for him to kind of acclimate to that role.
Thanks, Ed.